One round of racing in the books, and it was Grant Baylor snagging the first win of the year at an intense big buck GNCC. Can he make it two in a row here to start the season in 2021? GNCC on MAVTV starts now.
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Well, hello and welcome to the second round of the 2021 GNCC racing season, presented by Specialized and AMA National Championship. We're here in beautiful Palatka, Florida for the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. I'm Mikey Waynes, and I'll be taking you through today's racing action. We start things off with our Specialized race recap. Early in round one, it was Josh Strang out front with the whole shot in the early lead, but didn't take long for Ben Kelly to move into the number one spot and lead for a while with some company behind him, Lane Michael, until this. Ben Kelly getting stuck in the mud would cost him a lot of time and several positions, and it opened up a window of opportunity for this guy, Grant Baylor, who found himself out front toward the second half of the race. And from there, as you see on screen, Thad Duvall getting by him for a second. After this, it was the Thad Duvall and Grant Baylor show, with Grant Baylor refusing to be denied, would find himself out front shortly after that shot right there, and would never look back. Nothing was going to stop the KLM gas ride of Grant Baylor from snagging a win, essentially in the hometown at the Big Buck GNCC. What a ride for that young man. And we'll see if he can make it two in a row here today. Take a look at the top 10 from round number one. Thad Duvall's strong ride, as well as Josh Strang rounding out your top three.
Man, I can't believe it. I really didn't expect this coming into the first round. After last year, I just had a really rough year. You know, I didn't even put in, I had a couple good results there, but yeah, I mean, I just can't believe it. You know, I come into the first round and got the win. I just got a decent start there and got up in the lead group pretty early on, and there's a bunch of guys up there battling pretty hard, and towards the end there I found myself with that on the last two laps, and going into the last lap I had him right on my rear wheel there, and I knew I just had to drop the hammer and break away from him. So last lap I gave it all I had and broke away a little bit, and I was able to cruise it in there at the end for the win. First ever official win, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, Grant Baylor looking to make it two in a row to start this season. And speaking of Baylors, Stu Baylor set to make his 2021 GNCC debut here today after missing round one. And Ricky Towery with the waving of the green flag in just a moment will be off and rolling with the XC1 Pro class. Whole shot award up for grabs courtesy of All Balls Racing in the XC1 Open Pro class. And boy, how about the jump by Jordan Ashburn? Are you kidding me? Grabs the whole shot in the early lead, followed closely there by the 2-1-2 Coastal Racing Factory gas ride of Ricky Russell. Ashburn coming off a fourth place finish in round one, and Russell coming off a sixth place finish. Both riders would love nothing more than to go out here and get themselves a podium finish today. Back to the start line, the XC2 250 Pro class. Another whole shot award up for grabs courtesy of Hot Cams, and snagging it. Ooh, three-way battle for that whole shot. I believe that was the defending champ on the Rockstar Husky of Craig DeLong snagging the whole shot right away from the 198 of Liam Draper on the KTM. Craig DeLong coming off a second place finish in round number one. Solid ride for him, but he knows how deep that XC2 class is this year. Wins are going to be so important for these guys in the XC2. FMF XC3 now, and that is going to be the 318 of Chase Colville, snagging his second whole shot of the season. Colville had a strong race in round one, finishing second on the day, and clearly he's got these starts dialed in. Back to the XC1, and it is still Jordan Ashburn up front. More GNCC continues on MAVTV after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Well, the Magna 1 Motorsports Husqvarna of Jordan Ashburn remains in the lead with the Coastal Racing Factory gas ride of Ricky Russell in the second place position. A little bit of a gap now in between second and third as there's Stu Baylor on the AmPro Yamaha. Stu needing a good ride here today after sitting out round one with an injury. Stu with some company, though, as Josh Toth sits back there in the number 4 spot. So Stu Baylor, again, needing a good ride, set out round number one with that injury. Be interesting to see how he rebounds here today. Into the FMF PowerPoint we go, and it is Ashburn in front with Ricky Russell in second. And there is Josh Toth. So Toth able to get around Stu Baylor, and he is on that rear wheel of second place. So here we go. Baylor already back into the number 4 spot. Can he make up that position here as Ashburn and Russell out in front? And now Ricky Russell, lead change. Ricky Russell now out in front, and Ashburn falls to the number 2 spot. We'll see if that gap is about the same, and it is. But Stu Baylor able to get back up into the number 3 position with Toth behind him in 4th. So early on in this one, our top 4 at least, flip-flopping positions. So everybody wanting a piece of it. They know how big this season is. Going to be a new champion this year. Everybody wants a piece. And into the Monster Mile we go with our front 2. A little bit of a gap still yet on the 514 AmPro Yamaha of Stu Baylor in 3rd. And there he is, Josh Toth, the number 206 KTM, trying to make up a little ground on Baylor. So what a ride for Ricky Russell to start things off. He's coming off an injury in 2020 that had him sidelined after round number 4. And I think you ask any rider out there, pro level, amateur level, when you come back from an injury, they tell you the same thing. You can practice all you want, but nothing compares to the 3-hour race pace of a GNCC. There's just nothing like it. So it's going to be interesting to see how Russell manages this race out in front. Does he have the 3-hour speed, the 3-hour endurance to bring home the win? We're certainly finding out here today. So far, so good. No luxuries for Stu Baylor right now. He does not have a gap behind him. That is Toth all over the rear wheel. Baylor with very little room for error right there as Toth wants that number 3 spot back from Stu Baylor. We'll see if he can make it happen. And behind him, just about a single file line of XC1 riders, leaving little room for error for Stu Baylor right now. Russell and Ashburn still out in front. Looks like they're still maintaining that gap on Baylor, at least for the moment. As we'll pan back around and see, there he is, the 514 AmPro Yamaha of Stu Baylor, still sitting in that number 3 spot. And there he is, Josh Toth, another rider who needs a good ride here today, looking for a podium finish. And we'll see if he can get that done today in single file. Strang and the 523 of Lane Michael right there on the back end, all single file through Palatka, Florida. Can Ricky Russell snag his first win of the 2021 season? GNCC on MAVTV continues after this. Sunday mornings at a GNCC begin with the future of GNCC racing. Our youth class take to the course, and today, with an early lead, was the number 6 Magna 1 Motorsports ride of Chase Landers. He grabbed that early lead and, well, never really looked back. Eventually, he would take the win here at the Wild Boar GNCC. fantastic ride in round number 2 for Chase Landers after finishing not so well in round number 1. Got to be feeling good about this one as he rolls in and takes a checkered flag for Mr. Ricky Towery. Had a chance to catch up with Chase after the race.
I pulled my first ever hole shot. We led flag to flag, got the start, and I knew I had to sprint away and they couldn't catch me if I just kept my pace the whole entire race. And I felt good the entire time. In the last lap, I knew had a decent gap, so I just stayed smooth and got around the lappers.
Well, again, congratulations to your youth winner here this morning, Chase Landers. And, of course, the 408 of Thor Powell taking second place in the 113 of Caleb Lane, rounding out your top 3. We go back to the pros now, and it is still out in front, the 212 Coastal Racing Factory gas ride of Ricky Russell. Ashburn remains in the number 2 spot, and Russell flying past mile marker number 4 right there. Florida, arguably one of the toughest tracks of the season, so no surprise to see a guy with the nickname Rough and Rowdy out in front. Ricky really riding well out here in round 2. And again, Ashburn on that Magna 1 Motorsports ride, trying to channel his inner Chase Landers, if you will. Snag his first win of the season right here. Doing very well to keep pace in that second place position. Stu Baylor in the number 3 spot, and there he is, the number 530 KTM of Ben Kelly on the move right now. See how this one plays out for him as Ricky Russell rolls through right there. Looking good through mile marker number 9, and Ashburn still in that number 2 spot. Now, a little bit of a gap in between first and second place. We'll see if Ashburn can close that up. Maybe we can see Stu Baylor jump up there, or Ben Kelly join the fight here in a moment. Ashburn getting a little squirrely right there. Oh, but down goes Ricky Russell. So Ricky Russell down opens up the window of opportunity for Jordan Ashburn to make the pass and move into the number 1 spot. Now, fortunately for Ricky Russell, had a bit of a gap on 3rd and 4th, but boy, here they come. The 530 of Ben Kelly right there, and there is Stu Baylor in the number 4 spot on the charge. These guys are going to be able to capitalize on that. Ricky Russell, oh no, I take that back. That was Ben Kelly now into the number 2 spot, and Stu Baylor behind him in 3rd. So just when we thought things were getting settled, it all changes. Now Kelly out front. Ashburn in the number 2 spot, trying to catch up to that pace of Ben Kelly. And here he is. There he is on screen, the number 530 KTM of Ben Kelly out in front. And has he stretched out this lead? Got some lap traffic coming through right here. Still waiting on second place. Still waiting. Who is it going to be? That is Jordan Ashburn, the number 3 Magna 1 Motorsports ride, sitting in that number 3 spot. And man, I think it's just as big a gap between first and second as it is between second and 3rd right now, as we pan back over and keep our eyes open for that 3rd place ride. More lap traffic coming through right here. So wow, Ashburn doing big things with a lot of open track in front of him. This is a big gap. And look at this. It's the 114 Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki of Josh Strang, now into the number 3 spot. Ben Kelly enters VP Racing Fuels Pro Row. Gonna get some fuel, fresh set of goggles, little rehydration. The guy has got time. He could sit, he could have a coffee, he could have a cup of tea, whatever he wants right now. He is in control of this one, shaking off the arm pump a little bit right there. But he is absolutely rolling here in Palatka, Florida, through mile marker number 4 for the number 530. And there he is, the number 3 of Jordan Ashburn, still in that number 2 spot. Ashburn, still a bit of a gap right there. And we'll see. Here is Josh Strang, the 114. Hard on that throttle behind some lap traffic, letting them know, shouting at them, hey, I got to move, man. I'm in the number 3 spot, and I got to move because of this guy. Stu Baylor in that number 4 spot on the charge, trying to catch up to the pace of Josh Strang. Whew. This has been a wild one. We've seen several lead changes out in front, which says a lot. When you look at the gaps we've got right now, you wouldn't guess it if you're just tuning in. But this has been a crazy round number 2 of GNCC Racing. Kelly out in front. Ashburn in the number 2 spot. Good gaps between those riders until now. Strang on the move. The old wily veteran still got something left in the tank, and he's proving it right now. Chipping away, trying to move into that number 2 spot. There goes Kelly, still out front, and here comes Ashburn, looking smooth and clean through the sands of Florida right there. But boy, what a ride. And now, just when you want to count the guy out, there he is, Stu Baylor in the number 4 spot, all over the rear wheel of Josh Strang right there. Kelly out in front, moves easily around some lap traffic. Ashburn in the number 2 spot, and has he got some company? Strang in that number 3 position, right up on that rear wheel, almost handlebar to handlebar right there, battling for position. Kelly, little hiccup right there, but keeps it clean, keeps it on 2 wheels, and he is absolutely rolling right now. Ashburn sitting in the number 2 spot, doing well right now. We'll see. He seems to have shaken Strang for the moment. We'll see where Baylor's at right here. So there goes Strang. Baylor now on the move behind Strang. And, oh, Baylor comes off the motorcycle, gets a little sideways, and that is going to be a costly mistake for Stu Baylor right there. Whew. Could have been a lot worse. Error for Stu Baylor right there. Things are off and rolling. Ben Kelly out in front. Ashburn in the number 2 spot. Strang on the move. Baylor on the move. And how about it, rounding out your top 5? Grant Baylor. We'll be right back after this.
Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo e-bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready. And by Yamaha. Revs your heart.
Well, the factory KTM of Ben Kelly remains in control of this one late. Ashburn still in that number 2 spot, and Josh Strang knocking on the door of second place. Right now sitting in the number 3 spot. We'll see if he can make something happen before it's all said and done right here. And, of course, the 5:14 of Stu Baylor still in that number 4 position here late. We'll see if maybe he can fight for a podium position before it's said and done. But, boy, the story of the second half of this race has been the 5:30 of Ben Kelly. And I got to think this one feels good if you're Ben Kelly. Coming off round number 1, he was in the lead, in control of the race, ended up getting stuck in the mud, spent a lot of time there, dropped several positions, and ended up really having to put in the work, fight tooth and nail, crawl his way back into that race. So for him to come out here in round 2 in what is arguably one of the toughest tracks of the season here in Florida, and come away with a win right here as he's going into the checkered flag right there with Ricky Towery into the finish line and taking the win. This one has to feel good. Congratulations to Ben Kelly snagging the win here at the Wild Boar GNCC. What a ride for the 5:30 KTM.
Yeah, I felt good out there, you know, got a decent jump off the line and kind of got passed by a few guys, and then at mile 4 I kind of jumped a ditch and landed a little squirrely and went down, so I dropped back to like 7th or so. I was a little frustrated, but yeah, I knew it was going to be a long race, so felt really good. My bike was awesome, suspension was mint. I just stayed aggressive and kind of blitzed the whoops everywhere, and it felt really good as long as I didn't get low in the whoops, so not too many mistakes or sketchy moments. Just I played it patient with the lappers this time because it bit me at the first round, so yeah, I just rode smart and came out on top. It feels good.
Well, Josh Strang was able to move into the number 2 spot and keep it there for second place on the day. So congratulations to the number 114 Babbitt's Online Monster Energy Kawasaki.
It was good, man. This track, like I rode it actually Friday afternoon and Saturday morning, and I was like, man, this track is actually really fun. I think I rode past Johnny G and said, man, I wish I was riding an ATV this weekend. And I rode the track yesterday afternoon after those boys were done, and it was just tore up. So it was already gnarly, and I knew it didn't matter how many bikes we had today, it was going to be bad. So this place always is difficult, and you just have to pace yourself. The sand whips are so big, and you can time a section, and then you get out of rhythm and get squirrely. So you really just have to take your time and just kind of ride through this race and just be consistent. And that was it. I think I tipped over once all day, and yeah, so second place is pretty good.
Well, again, a big congratulations to Ben Kelly on the win here today. Strang finishing the number 2 spot, and rounding out the top 3 was the Magna 1 Motorsports ride of Jordan Ashburn. We had a chance to catch up with Ashburn after the race.
Man, I'm smoked, to be honest with you, but no, it was a solid day, and I give it my all, and me and Strang were tied the last couple laps, and ended up going down the last lap and losing him, but I'm pretty happy with the day. I mean, my bike was great, the team was great, everybody helping point lines out there. It was a gnarly track.
Taking a look at the Specialized race recap. Our XC1 class off and rolling, and early on it was Jordan Ashburn moving into the lead and snagging the whole shot with Ricky Russell right behind him in the number 2 spot. These two would have a heck of a battle out in front early in this one, going back and forth on position. Right there, Jordan Ashburn out in front, and there he is, the 2-1-2. 2 riders needing a good ride here today in round number 2, both looking for podium finishes. And eventually Ricky Russell able to get around Ashburn into the lead. He would enjoy that lead for a little bit, but a little mistake coming up here in a second opened up the door for Jordan Ashburn in that number 2 spot to move back into the number 1 position. Right here, you can't see it on screen, but Ricky Russell goes down. Ashburn, little trouble right there, but able to make the pass as Ricky Russell picking the machine up out of the woods. Those palmettos will reach up and grab you here in Palatka, Florida, no doubt about that. From there, it was pretty much Ben Kelly who moved into the lead and really never looked back. What a fantastic ride for the number 530 machine. We did have some good battles back in the number 3 and number 4 spot. Right here is what kind of ended the day. Well, not ended the day, but definitely made things difficult for Stu Baylor. Had his eyes on that podium position behind Strang. Little mishap right there in the 514. Ended up 4th after that and fell back even a little more as the race wore on. But as you see, the number 530 factory KTM ride of Ben Kelly on the move would not be denied. And boy, what a good feeling after the round number 1, the battles that he had there to come out here in round 2 and get the win. Nothing quite like winning a GNCC at the pro level. So congratulations again to the number 530 KTM of Ben Kelly on his first win of 2021. Big congratulations to that man as well. Johnny Gerard snagged the win in the XC2 class. Well, that's going to do it for us down here in Palatka, Florida. Thanks for watching the Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. I'm Mikey Waynes. We'll see you at the races.